On the red platform at 650 pounds on this opener. Abner's competing deadlift only, so we got a specialist on our hands. Let's see how he rips this up on his opening attempt. Okay, let's look for something exciting here in a couple lifts with our deadlift only. Platform is ready. Let's go. Come on. Abner Nazario. 717 pounds for Abner. World record attempt. Gets the down command from our head judge, Kyle.
Hi everyone, thank you for watching the video. As you can see, this is some footage from my competition at the USPA Drug Tested Nationals in Columbus, Ohio, the weekend of September 4th to the 7th. And I am at a loss for words. This is definitely a competition that had some significant impact for me as far as with my powerlifting career. And words just can't describe the experience and the outcome as far as with this competition. So first, before I even get into anything, I definitely just want to thank my family, friends, and people who have supported me throughout the years in this particular sport. Even though it doesn't give me any monetary gain, any financial gain, it gives me something that's more important than that. It gives me passion, it gives me discipline, it gives me dedication, and it gives me drive as a person, as a human being, and be able to give that back in any way, shape, or form in my character, in my communication with individuals, in my job, in my family, in my relationships. And I will definitely be forever grateful, just because of the sheer fact of the things that I've learned when it comes to training and in this sport, that it has been so heavily based on the mental aspect of things. And I feel like it's definitely helped me grow as a person. So I just wanted to quickly say that before I even get into any type of recap. And I'm definitely humbled and definitely grateful for this particular outcome and how things went for this competition. So to kind of get into things, again, for those of you who do not know, or for those of you who are already aware, IPL Worlds for the USPA was canceled this year, so they pushed it back a whole year. So I wanted to really have the opportunity to re-break the world record again this year, but unfortunately with what's been going on, that obviously could not happen. So some things had to get rescheduled. But fortunately, things played into my favor where they did wind up having the USPA Drug Tested Nationals this year that gives a lifter the opportunity to break either an American record or an IPL world record. Seeing that this is the only competition that I had the opportunity to re-break that record and in a perfect scenario, re-break the American record as well as that record simultaneously, I figured this was the only shot I had. So definitely played a significance as far as with the performance and the goals that I had set out for myself. And this particular prep was very short compared to the last. For the Power Pose Summer Showdown, that was about, I want to say that one was maybe, you're looking at 12 to 15 weeks there to get myself time and ready to get back to what is it that I had set out for myself. And this one actually was 8 weeks. So even though it didn't feel like it was short, it definitely was as far as preparation. So I already knew what the goal was that I had in mind for this competition. It was to re-break the world record, the IPL drug-tested deadlift record, as well as re-break the USPA American National drug-tested record. I wanted to break them simultaneously. Now, I had an idea for a number in my head, and this was the number that I went with, and I felt most confident based on the time frame of what I was doing. But just looking at everything, there's definitely room for opportunity in a good way. So definitely going to be, just taking that in mind, and what definitely is going to be a contributing factor into performances down the road. So first things first is I wanted to make sure that I didn't weigh in significantly heavier than I did in my last competition. I wanted to stay in a ballpark of in a 2 to 3 pound range difference between this weigh-in and last. Last competition I weighed in at 174. This competition I weighed in at 176. So again, with the threshold I was looking for, I fell within that grasp. Again, I didn't really change anything as far as nutrition. I stuck with what worked. Applied that here as well. Same thing with my refeed day on the day of my weigh-in. So I have a lot of energy, and I'm carved up and hydrated accordingly to perform the best that I can. So I did keep that. Didn't want to make any changes there. Again, I'm a big proponent on if it's not broken, don't fix it. And again, training as far as with variations. I know that from my last prep that was a weak point, and I corrected those things in this particular short prep, so that was definitely a benefactor. And yeah, just really playing it smart when it came to training. So I did push it a little bit on the back end, but that's okay because we were just trying to break some boundaries. And again, it was a short period of time as far as preparation, so I definitely wanted to use that opportunity to just push my body into new atmosphere as far as for my central nervous system. So that was definitely a benefit as well. So decided to go with a heavier attempt. Reason being is because I wanted to be in correlation to what I was going to plan to hit on that particular day. And I believe attempt-wise, I picked the right number. Wasn't too light, wasn't too heavy. It's just something to get me adamantly ready for my next attempt. And usually for me, I don't like to take 3 attempts to get to my max weight. I like to have my opener kind of bridge that gap, and then my second attempt be what I'm shooting for. I've always been somebody that likes to really hit their goal in their second attempt. I don't like to really spread it out between attempts. I just found that to be a different case before when I was getting back into competing and, progressing with the weights. Just to get my body acclimated, I felt like that was necessary. But now that I feel I'm back to where I am performance-wise, it's best that I stick with what I know works. And that's, again, what I applied here as well. So went for 717. Again, I didn't really have the opportunity or time to make the same approach as I normally do when it comes to picking attempts. So I just felt with what I thought at the time was comfortable. And I believe I made a good call, but at the same time, like I said, there's definitely room there. So I am, not satisfied. Again, because there's definitely room to do better, and that's what we're obviously going to shoot for next time. So, wound up re-breaking both the IPL World Drug Tested record and the USPA American National Drug Tested record as well in the deadlift in the 181 weight class. So we did set out to achieve those goals, and we exceeded that, and took first place as well in the national championship. So again, definitely performance was on point that day. I definitely contributed to just sticking to what I knew worked, sticking to the basics, nothing crazy. And, a big proponent is definitely just maintaining that diet, staying with the same diet through and through from the last competition. And, this competition meant so much to me because I haven't touched any weight like this in 2 years. It was only short after, it was only a short little bit after where I did hit an all-time PR for me in competition in 2018. it was then right in January. It was October of 2018 is when I hit my all-time PR in a competition, and then in January of 2019 is when I got injured. And and then just taking that time to get back and build my way back up to where I was, and I'm so happy with the fact that I persevered and I used that to my advantage, because I just am so mentally driven towards a goal that I have, and I will do everything I can to not only meet but exceed those expectations that I have on myself and what I have set as far as for my performance. And that was something that was just on my mind. And, it took us 2 years, but we're back to where we were. Well, technically we're ahead of where we are, but it took us 2 years altogether. And I can tell you right now, bittersweet. It really is. But, still got work to do. Still have objectives and goals in mind, and we are working towards that. So, now that is the case, where do I go from here? I think based on my personal life right now, with things that I'm taking into account and just seeing how this went, this kind of changes some goals in the immediate future. Yeah. And I think that those goals are going to probably make those immediate changes to are going to be my focus in the meantime. And then we go from there. Yeah. So I just, like I said, words can't describe just, what has transpired at this competition. Also another thing was I realized is that I almost pulled 4.1 times body weight. I think it wound up being like 4.07 or something like that. Something around that. Correct me on that. I could do the math, but close to 4.1 times body weight. And you got to remember, I just did 4 times body weight at this competition, the last competition. But again, looking at that footage, we definitely, like I said, I definitely felt like there was a little wiggle room. And as far as timing and preparation and peaking, this competition worked perfectly in favor with that. So, yeah, I'm definitely ecstatic on that. I think it's going to bump up some of my rankings I have on open powerlifting. Once I get that information, I'll be more than happy to share that with you guys. I do know for a fact that as far as in the pound for pound category and drug test on the drug tested side for deadlift only, it's going to put me, I think, either top 5 or top 6 all time based on Wilks with that performance. So I believe I'm in the top 10 right now, but I think with that performance alone, based on the Wilks that I will get from that competition, it'll bump me up to probably top 6 or top 5. So again, really ecstatic. And, for me, it may be cheesy, but I definitely wanted to establish a list of accomplishments that would put me in the realm of, some of the greatest to ever do this, let alone on the drug tested side. I'm still a little leaps and bounds away when it comes to the guys as far as that are on the untested side, and just, overall, regardless of tested or not tested. But, I definitely want to get back to a point where I was competitive on both sides. So, fun fact is that early on when I was in the, I would say maybe 2016, 2017, I was winning both the tested and untested divisions as far as in the deadlift only category. But it seems like now with the sport ever so growing, you have a lot more people that are getting into it and a lot of more talent out there, and it's getting competitive, and I think it's great. And it just got to a point where I couldn't even just keep up with the guys on the untested side. And, now I focus more primarily competing in the drug tested division. So I would like to definitely get back to a point where I'm toe to toe on both sides. So, but like I said, for me, I definitely want to build a reputation and build a resume that signifies as somebody that is, just one of the best to ever do this. And that's something that has always been in the back of my mind, and I believe that I'm capable of doing so. So I just feel like right now, with this particular competition that just passed, it's just helping write that legacy, just to make that a possibility. So again, this is definitely something for me that has been just an amazing journey. Words just can't describe, how I feel, and I'm very grateful. I'm not satisfied. I'm grateful because I believe I can do better, and I believe everybody should have that same mindset. And I believe that's what it takes to be the best. And yeah, I feel like that applying that with all the ups and downs in these past 2 years, ever since 2018, and getting injured in the January of 2019, it's been quite a journey, but it's all been worth it in the end, because it just made it that much more sweeter to get back to where I was. And I was just so driven towards that. And, we've eclipsed that finally. But it doesn't mean to sit back and rest. It doesn't mean to sit back and call it a day. It means now we are embarking a new territory. And where do we want to take it from here? But also doing it right, doing it safe, and doing it smart. I believe that keeping that in mind is what's going to help me now that I have surpassed what is something that has been bothering me for 2 years. It's going to help me on my journey to exceed and keep going from here. Like I said, for me, I definitely want to establish a resume that speaks volumes, and I'm definitely somebody, regardless as cheesy as it sounds, I want to be considered one of the greatest. And I'm doing what I can to embark on that legacy and just write that path for myself. And I feel like this particular competition definitely puts one in the books for that. And unfortunately, I won't be able to get a world championship this year and make it 6 years in a row, but I definitely can't complain with 5 years in succession and world championships and one national title. I don't think you can argue with that at all. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching the videos. We're getting back into the swing of things. I know it's a little late with this footage, but I've just been all around traveling and everything, and just finally getting back home and getting back into the swing of things. And I'm definitely a routine person, so I'm definitely happy to get back into the routine. And yeah, training is now it's in full fledged. And I'm happy to say that now my home gym has been able to open back up, so I'll be able to go back to my home gym to train at. Yeah. So once I have an idea of what's the next objectives, I'll let you guys know. But like I said, I'd definitely like to share the results I have from this competition, as far as, I guess, where I place in the rankings. And I definitely would like to also share what I believe it definitely takes to be somebody as a high caliber athlete, and things that I've done. Because it was one very important thing regarding just my approach played a significant role in this competition, and I think one major milestone in that happened as well, and I would like to share with you guys that at another time. So, but until then, thank you guys for watching the video. Once we have an idea what the next goal is and what the next step is, I will let you guys know. Yeah, stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching the video, and take care.